The soft hum of the habitat's life support system was Elara's constant lullaby, a gentle thrum beneath the silence of space. Tonight, even that familiar sound seemed to recede, leaving only the vast, diamond-dusted canvas unfurling beyond her bedroom's panoramic viewport. Viridian Spire, their home, a towering crystalline structure burrowed into the icy crust of Ganymede, was a marvel of human ingenuity, but it was the view that truly captivated Elara. Not the bustling promenades below, nor the biodomes with their imported earth flora, but the stars. Always the stars. She lay tucked into her dreamweaver blanket, its fibers adjusting to her body's temperature, a faint glow mimicking the patterns of nebulae. Glimmer, her room's ambient light eye, had dimmed to a soft, pulsing azure, a perfect complement to the cosmic tapestry outside. Jupiter, their majestic gas giant parent, hung like a marbled god in the distance, its great red spot a swirling ancient eye watching over them. But it was the pinpricks of light, the distant suns, that held her gaze. Each one a story, each one a promise. A soft click echoed from the door panel, a sound as familiar and comforting as the hum of the spire. Elara didn't even need to turn. "Mama," she whispered, her voice barely audible above her own excited heartbeat. Lyra, her mother, moved with the quiet grace of a dancer, a silhouette against the warmer light of the corridor. She carried a steaming mug, its aroma of spiced synth milk already weaving through the air. "Still awake, my little star seeker?" Lyra's voice was as warm and smooth as the blanket Elara lay beneath. She settled onto the edge of the bed, the mattress sighing softly in response. "I was waiting for you," Elara said, pushing herself up, her small face alight with anticipation. "And the stars are so bright tonight. Is it almost time?" Lyra chuckled, a sound like wind chimes. She handed Elara the mug, its warmth seeping into her small hands. "Almost, my love. But first, our story." Elara snuggled down, her eyes still fixed on the viewport. "Tell me about the Starlight, Mama." "The one from the legends." Lyra took a slow sip from her own mug, her gaze drifting to the same endless expanse. Her eyes, the same deep cerulean as Elara's, held a faraway glimmer, as if they could pierce through the light years. "The Starlight," she began, her voice dropping to a soft rhythmic cadence that was itself a kind of magic. "It's not just any light, Elara. It is the heart song of the universe, distilled into pure, shimmering essence." Elara hugged the mug to her chest. "But what is it? Is it a comet, or a supernova?" Lyra smiled. "Neither, and yet, perhaps a little of both. Imagine, my dearest, a time long, long ago, before our family ever dreamt of Viridian Spire, before humanity even left Earth's cradle. Our ancestors, the first star weavers, lived under skies ablaze with unpolluted light. They watched, and they learned. They noticed that every few centuries a particular cluster of stars, deep within the veil—" She gestured towards a faint, shimmering haze visible even from their vantage point, a distant smudge of cosmic dust and gas that seemed to pulse with a faint internal light. "That is the veil, Elara, and within it lies the source of the great starlight bloom." Elara gasped, her eyes wide. She knew the veil. It was a familiar landmark in their night sky, a beautiful, ethereal cloud that always seemed to promise secrets. "The bloom. What does it do?" "The bloom," Lyra explained, her voice gaining a hushed reverence, "is a phenomenon unlike any other. For a brief precious window, a ripple of pure energy, a wave of concentrated starlight, emanates from the heart of the veil. It travels across the void, touching star systems, planets, and moons, like a whisper from creation itself." "And it reaches Zeus?" Elara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It does," Lyra confirmed, her fingers gently tracing the patterns on Elara's dreamweaver blanket. "Our ancestors, the Star Weavers, learned to predict its arrival. They weren't scientists as we know them, but poets of the cosmos, feeling the pulse of the universe in their very bones. They built observatories not of metal and glass, but of meticulously aligned crystals, designed to capture and amplify the starlight's unique signature. What did they do with it? They believed it held knowledge, memories, even emotions from across the cosmos. They believed the starlight was the universe's way of communicating, of sharing its vast ancient wisdom. And they designed a special device, a kind of resonance chamber, to translate those whispers. Lyra paused, her gaze once again distant. It became our family's legacy, Elara, to listen to the starlight, to understand its message. Elara tried to imagine it, ancient people, huddled beneath open skies, waiting for a cosmic whisper. It was so different from their life in Viridian Spire, with its climate controls, its nutrient recyclers, its perfectly regulated gravity. Here, the stars were a beautiful, distant painting, but Lyra made them feel close enough to touch. Generations passed, Lyra continued, and humanity ventured outwards, leaving Earth behind. Our family, the Star Weavers, carried their traditions with them, from the first orbital stations to the moon colonies, to the distant reaches of the Kepler system, where your great-grandmother helped found New Horizon. We always tracked the bloom. Each time it arrived, we listened. What did it tell us, Mama? Lyra smiled wistfully. That's part of the mystery, Elara. The starlight's messages are never clear, never literal. They are feelings, insights, glimpses of distant wonders. Sometimes they are even visions of things yet to come. It's like listening to a symphony played by the universe itself, where every note is a star, and every melody is a cosmic secret. Elara hugged her knees, the warmth of the synth milk mug a comforting anchor. So, the bloom. It's coming soon, right? You said it was almost time. Lyra nodded, her expression growing more serious, a spark of pure anticipation in her eyes. Yes, my little star weaver. The astronomical calculations, refined over centuries by our family's data, and the Spire's advanced long-range sensors, confirm it. The great starlight bloom is due to reach our system within the next solar cycle, and this one is special. Why special? Elara leaned forward, her heart thrumming with a new kind of excitement. Because, Lyra whispered, her voice barely audible, the projections indicate this will be the brightest bloom in over 500 years. Its energy signature is off the charts. Some ancient texts even speak of a golden bloom, a starlight so potent it could, well, they say it could connect us to something truly extraordinary. Extraordinary like what? Like an echo from the very edge of time, Lyra mused, her gaze lost in the starfield. Or perhaps a gateway. The legends are vague, but the feeling is clear. This bloom holds immense potential, and for our family, it presents a unique opportunity. Opportunity for what? Elara pressed, barely able to contain her eagerness. She loved her mother's stories, but this felt different. This felt unreal. To finally activate the stargazer's compass, Lyra said, her eyes meeting Elara's, a shared secret passing between them. Elara had heard whispers of the compass before. A relic, something from their family's distant past, kept hidden away in a secure vault within their quarters. She'd only ever seen glimpses of it in old holographic photos, a complex device of interlocking, glowing crystals, intricately etched with celestial maps and symbols she didn't understand. It looked like something out of an ancient fantasy, not a piece of functional technology. The compass? Elara breathed, her voice filled with awe. But you said it was broken. Or that no one knew how to use it anymore. Not broken, my love, Lyra corrected gently. Dormant. It requires a precise confluence of cosmic energies to awaken. And for generations, the blooms haven't been strong enough, or perhaps we haven't been in the right place at the right time. But this golden bloom, the data suggests it will provide the exact energy signature needed. So, it's not just for listening anymore? Elara asked, remembering Lyra's earlier description of the Starweaver's tradition. No, Lyra said, a new note of determination in her voice. The compass is said to do more than just listen. It's said to guide, to show us the way to the starlight's truest source, to its deepest secret. To the Veil Nebula? Lyra shook her head. Not the nebula itself, Elara. The compass is said to point to a specific point in space-time, a single fleeting location where the starlight is at its purest, most concentrated, a place where its heart song resonates loudest, a place where perhaps we can find what the ancient star weavers truly sought. Elara's mind reeled. This wasn't just a bedtime story anymore. This was a prelude to an adventure. An actual, real-life, spacefaring adventure. Her heart pounded a rhythm against her ribs that matched the distant hum of the spire. What do they seek, Mama? Lyra's gaze grew soft, tinged with a familiar melancholy that always seemed to surface when she spoke of the deep past. Connection, Elara. We are a species that has scattered itself across the stars, always searching for something more, something beyond ourselves. The Star Weavers believed the starlight held the key to that ultimate connection. A bridge between all living things, all consciousness, across the vastness of the universe. Some even believed it could reveal the deepest truths about our own. Elara thought about her own life in Viridian Spire. It was comfortable, safe, technologically advanced. She had her friends, her holo lessons, her zero-G games in the recreation domes. But sometimes, a quiet loneliness would creep in, a feeling of being a tiny speck in an impossibly huge and empty universe. The starlight, as Lyra described it, sounded like an answer to that emptiness. "Will away go, Mama?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, afraid to break the spell. "Will we follow the compass?" Lyra stroked her hair, a gentle touch that sent warmth through Elara. "That, my dearest, is the question that has weighed on our family for generations. The journey to truly follow the compass, to reach that point of pure starlight, is not easy. It requires a vessel capable of incredible speeds, navigating treacherous cosmic currents, and enduring conditions far beyond anything Viridian Spire was designed for." Elara's shoulders slumped slightly. "So, we can't go." "Not in the Spire, no," Lyra conceded. "But our ancestors also prepared for this. They built a ship, Elara. A very special ship. One designed specifically to chase the starlight." Elara sat bolt upright. "A ship? Where is it?" "It's been dormant, hidden away in a deep space dock, maintained by automated systems, waiting for the golden bloom. It's called the Lunarian." Lyra's voice was filled with a reverence Elara rarely heard. "It's a magnificent vessel, designed to withstand the very fabric of space-time bending around it. Its engines hum with a unique resonance, tuned to the starlight's frequency, and it has been waiting for Yi." Elara's imagination soared. A secret ship. A journey across the cosmos. This was better than any Holovid story. "When can we go? Can we leave tomorrow?" Lyra laughed softly, a sound that brought Elara back to the comforting reality of their shared room. "Not quite tomorrow, my impetuous little star weaver. There are preparations. The compass needs to be fully charged. The Luminaria needs to be fully activated and provisioned. And there is much you need to learn before we embark on such a grand adventure." "What do I need to learn?" Elara asked, suddenly feeling a surge of responsibility. She wanted to be ready. But she wanted to be worthy of this legacy. "You need to learn to listen, Elara," Lyra said, her gaze returning to the distant Veil Nebula. "To listen not just with your ears but with your heart. To understand that the universe speaks in many ways, and the starlight is but one of its ancient languages. You need to learn the Star Weaver's ways, their charts, their understanding of cosmic flows. And most importantly, you need to learn patience. The starlight may offer grand truths, but it reveals them slowly, and often only to those who are truly ready to receive them." Elara felt a thrill course through her. Patience. Listening. These were things she could practice. She could spend hours gazing at the stars, trying to hear their whispers even now. "Will Papa come with us?" Elara asked, a shadow passing over her bright anticipation. Her father, Jax, was a deep space miner, often away for months at a time, exploring asteroid belts for rare minerals. His departures always left a quiet ache in her heart. Lyra's smile faltered slightly. "Your father is on a very important mission right now, Elara. One that will bring vital resources back to Viridian Spire. He may not be able to join us for the initial journey, but he will be with us in spirit, always." There was a hint of something unspoken in her mother's voice, a familiar sadness that Elara couldn't quite decipher. It was a sadness that had always accompanied the mention of her father's long absences, a quiet yearning that Elara, young as she was, recognized as love tinged with separation. Elara hugged her mug tighter, trying to push away the familiar pang of missing him. This adventure, she realized, would be with her mother. A journey just for them, to unlock a family secret. The thought was both exhilarating and a little daunting. "So when do we start preparing?" she asked, her voice full of renewed resolve. Lyra reached out and gently brushed a stray curl from Elara's forehead. "We start now, my love. Every story I tell you from this night forward will be a piece of the puzzle. Every star we watch together will be a lesson. And when the golden bloom finally arrives, you will be ready." Elara finished her synth milk, the warmth spreading through her. She leaned back against her pillows, her gaze once again drawn to the viewport. The stars no longer felt just like distant pinpricks. They felt like an invitation. A call. Lyra stood, retrieving the empty mugs. "Now, close your eyes, little star weaver. Dream of the Illuminarian, dream of the Starlight. For tomorrow, the real learning begins." As Lyra softly pressed the sleep-inducing sequence on Glimmer, the room's ambient light slowly deepened from azure to a soft enveloping indigo. Elara closed her eyes, but the images of the Illuminariae, of the shimmering Veil Nebula, of the ancient stargazer's compass, spun behind her eyelids. The hum of the spire was no longer just a lullaby, it was the distant thrum of starship engines, waiting. And in her dreams, Elara was already flying, chasing the heart song of the universe, towards the promise of the golden bloom. The journey, she knew, had just begun. Elara stirred. The indigo light of her room had already softened to a gentle dawn violet, signaling the start of the spire's waking cycle. But it wasn't the light that roused her. It was the echo of a cosmic hum, the reverberation of countless stars, still thrumming in her very bones. The golden bloom. The Veil Nebula. The Illuminarian, thought Galaxies. They weren't just dreams. They were memories. Half-formed, half-revealed, whispering promises of a destiny she hadn't known she possessed. She sat up, her sleep-silk sheets pooling around her, her heart a drumbeat against her ribs. Her autochef unit whirred softly, preparing her morning nutrient paste, but food felt trivial. Her mind was already light years away. She dressed quickly in her standard Spire-issue jumpsuit, the fabric adapting to her body temperature. The Spire was a marvel, a colossal crystalline needle piercing the planet's upper atmosphere, its upper sections bathed in perpetual sunlight, its lower roots delving into the mineral-rich crust. It was home to thousands, a self-sustaining ecosystem built on forgotten technology and the collective hope of a new age. But today, the familiar hum of the Spire felt different, less a lullaby, more a call to action. She made her way to the communal commons, a vast, airy space where holographic projections of distant star systems danced across the walls, a constant reminder of the universe beyond. Other residents, mostly researchers, engineers, and biocultivators, were already there, quietly conversing or absorbed in their personal datapads. Elara picked up a bowl of nutrient paste, its faint berry scent doing little to tempt her, and found a quiet corner overlooking the panoramic view of the cloud sea below. She remembered the stargazer's compass. A physical artifact, yet it felt imbued with a mystical significance. How could a mere instrument guide one to a heart song? And the golden bloom? Was it truly a bloom, or a metaphor for something far grander? A cosmic phenomenon of unparalleled beauty and power? The questions buzzed in her mind, too loud to ignore. Her usual work in the Spire's hydroponics labs, tending to the genetically engineered flora that sustained their community, suddenly seemed pale in comparison. She needed answers. And there was only one place in the Spire where answers, however ancient or fragmented, resided: the Lumina Archives. The archives were located deep within the Spire's midsection, a place rarely visited by the younger generations. It was a repository of all recorded knowledge from the pre-collapse era and the subsequent rebuilding. As she descended in a silent grav lift, the Spire's crystalline walls gave way to darker, more industrial-looking conduits and ancient, almost organic-looking tech. The air grew cooler, carrying a faint scent of ozone and dust. The entrance to the Lumina Archives was an unassuming archway, guarded by a shimmering energy field. As Elara approached, a soft, synthesized voice greeted her. "Welcome, Elara 7. Your biometric signature is recognized. State your query. Access to general archives, specifically pre-collapse era data on astrogation, deep space phenomena, and the golden bloom, she articulated, feeling a slight flush of self-consciousness at the last part. The energy field shimmered and dissolved. Elara stepped into a cavernous space. It wasn't shelves of books, but rather an endless expanse of crystalline data cubes, each glowing with an inner light, arranged in intricate geometric patterns that stretched into the dim distance. Holographic projections of constellations and ancient starships drifted silently overhead. At the center of the vast hall floated a colossal, multi-faceted data crystal, pulsing with a gentle, rhythmic light. This was the core processing unit, the Archivist Prime. Golden bloom, the voice echoed, emanating from the central crystal. Query parameters too broad. Please refine. Is it a star? A nebula? A planet? Elara prompted, her voice barely a whisper in the echoing space. Searching. Data fragmented. References to golden bloom appear in mythopoetic texts, ancient star charts, and pre-collapse philosophical treatises, predominantly linked to the Veil Nebula region, described as source of cosmic harmony, origin of the heart song, the universe's vibrant core. Warning, data often intertwined with speculative or out. A holographic projection shimmered into existence before her, displaying a swirling, luminous cloud of gas and dust, the Veil Nebula, far grander and more intricate than the image she'd seen in her dream. Within it, a pinpoint of intense golden light pulsed, almost imperceptibly. This anomaly, designated Aurum Core, is often associated with the golden bloom mythos. Elara felt a thrill ripple through her. It was real. Or at least, there was a real cosmic phenomenon that had inspired the myth. And the Stargazer's compass. Stargazer's compass, the Archivist Prime responded. An ancient navigational artifact, purpose, to attune the seeker to the universal resonance. Last recorded active transmission, approximately 300 cycles prior to the pre-collapse. Location unknown, associated with the Luminaria deep space exploration vessel. The Illuminaria, her dream ship. Show me everything on the Illuminaria. The holographic display shifted. Images of a sleek, elegant starship, unlike any modern vessel, appeared. It was all curves and bioluminescent panels, designed for speed and grace. Its primary propulsion system, according to the accompanying text, was a harmonic drive, rumored to utilize the heart song itself for interstellar travel. The Illuminarium embarked on a mission to chart the Veil Nebula and investigate the Aurum Core. It vanished without a trace approximately 290 cycles ago. All attempts to locate it or its crew were unsuccessful, presumed lost. Elara stared at the image of the ship, a pang of loss echoing within her, as if she knew the crew, as if she had been part of that fateful mission. But deeper than the loss was a renewed sense of purpose. The Illuminaria was lost, but perhaps not forever. Perhaps it had reached its destination. Lost, but never truly gone, eh? Child? A gruff voice startled her. Elara turned to see an old man emerging from between two towering datacube arrays. He was thin, with wisps of white hair escaping from under a worn cap, and his eyes, though clouded with age, held a sharp, knowing glint. He wore an ancient technician's jumpsuit, stained with what looked like lubricant and cosmic dust. This was Kale, one of the Spire's oldest residents, known for tinkering with forgotten systems in the lower levels. He was a recluse, rarely seen in the upper commons. Kale? Elara asked, surprised. What are you doing here? Same as you, perhaps, he grunted, shuffling closer, his gaze fixed on the holographic Illuminaria. Chasing ghosts, or dreams? He paused, then looked at her directly. You've been dreaming of the Illuminaria, haven't you? Of the golden bloom? Elara felt a blush creep up her neck. How did you know? Kale chuckled, a dry, raspy sound. The Spire has its ways of knowing. And old Kale has his ways of listening. I've felt that restless energy in the air. The Spire itself feels it when a new seeker awakens. That dream, it's a calling, Elara. not just idle slumber. He gestured towards the Illuminaria projection. I was a junior tech on the Illuminaria project, helped build her, piece by piece. She was the most beautiful thing humanity ever put to the stars, designed to sing with the universe, not just conquer it. His voice softened, tinged with a deep melancholy. When she vanished, a part of all of us went with her. We stopped looking up then. Started looking down, inwards. But the golden bloom, the heart song, it's real, isn't it? Elara pressed, a desperate hope in her voice. Kale nodded slowly. Oh, it's real. More real than this spire, than our own hands. The ancient texts aren't just myths. They're encoded truths. The golden bloom is a nexus, a confluence of universal energy, life, and consciousness. It's where the fabric of reality is thinnest, where you can hear the very symphony of creation. He paused, his eyes distant. And the heart song. It's the bloom's melody. It's what powers the Illuminaria's harmonic drive, what the compass was meant to interpret. So the Illuminaria wasn't lost, Elara whispered. It just reached its destination. Kale gave her a wry smile. Maybe. Or maybe it got tangled in the Veil's embrace. The Veil Nebula isn't just pretty light, child. It's a cosmic labyrinth, full of gravitational anomalies, dark matter currents, and radiation storms. A beautiful killer. He squinted at the projection. But if anyone could navigate it, it was Captain Eris and her crew. And if any ship could survive it, it was the Illuminaria. What about the Stargazer's compass? Elara asked, a new urgency in her voice. If it can attune to the heart song, it's the key, isn't it? Kale sighed. The compass was the heart of the Illuminaria's navigation system. It wasn't just a physical device. It was an interface, designed to merge with the pilot's consciousness, to guide them by intuition as much as calculation. It was rumored to be unique, created by the pre-collapse whisperers, those who claimed to hear the universe's song without aid. He looked around the vast, silent archives. When the Illuminaria launched, the compass was with it, lost, like the ship. But what if it wasn't? Elara's mind raced. What if there was a backup? A prototype? Or what if the Illuminaria sent a signal? A faint echo of the compass before it went silent. Kale's eyes widened slightly. You're thinking like a whisperer, child. Always searching for the resonance. There lies a prototype, a lesser version, an echo compass built to test the fundamental principles. It was deemed too unstable for deep space, unable to handle the full range of the heart song's frequencies. It was repurposed, then forgotten. Where? Elara pressed, her heart pounding. Kale frowned, a thoughtful expression on his face. After the Illuminaria was lost, all data related to the project was sealed, deemed too dangerous or too disheartening for public consumption. The Spire's leadership shifted focus, but I remember. I was the one who salvaged some of the old tech before they sealed off the lower sections. The Echo Compass, it was integrated into the Spire's original star map chamber, an ancient observation deck, long since abandoned. The star map chamber? Elara had heard legends of it, a place even older than the current Spire, a relic from the very first human settlements on this planet, built by the initial colonists who had still dreamt of the stars. It was rumored to be deep below the Spire, almost at the planet's core, now used only for heavy-duty power conduits and waste disposal. Aye, Kale said, a glint in his eye. The Spire, Elara, isn't just a home. It's a monument to a forgotten dream. A launch platform, a beacon, a ship in waiting. The whole structure hums with the memory of flight. And deep within it, the old star map chamber was where they first tried to listen to the cosmos, before they had the Illuminaria. Can you take me there? Elara asked, her voice trembling with excitement and apprehension. Kale hesitated, his gaze sweeping over the pristine, ordered archives, then back to Elara's eager face. It's dangerous, child. Those lower levels are unstable, unchecked. The old systems are barely holding together. And the leadership, they wouldn't approve of stirring up old ghosts. But the heart song is calling, Elara insisted, her eyes shining. I can feel it, Kale. It's not just a dream anymore. It's a purpose. Kale looked at her for a long moment, a flicker of his youthful hope returning to his aged eyes. You remind me of Eris, he mumbled, almost to himself. The same fire, the same foolish courage. He straightened his shoulders, a decision made. All right, child, but we go quietly, and we prepare. This isn't a stroll in the park. This is a journey into the spire's forgotten heart. The world seemed to sharpen around Elara. The vague longing of her dreams had coalesced into a tangible quest. The golden bloom, the eye luminaria, the stargazer's compass. They were threads in a tapestry that was now revealing itself to her. She felt an almost magnetic pull towards the lower levels of the spire, towards the forgotten star map chamber, towards the echo of the heart song. Kale led her away from the Archivist Prime, deeper into a dimly lit section of the archives, past data cubes covered in a fine layer of dust. He stopped at a nondescript panel, its surface scarred with ancient scratches. He pulled out a small multi-tool from his belt and expertly manipulated a series of hidden latches. A small compartment hissed open, revealing a single tarnished data chip. This, Kale whispered, handing it to her, is an old schematic of the star map chamber, not the official sanitized version but my own notes. And it contains something else, a partial log entry from the Luminaria's pre-launch diagnostics. A frequency analysis. A frequency analysis. A faint, almost imperceptible harmonic signature that the prime compass registered. Even then, a whisper from the Elara carefully took the chip. It felt heavy in her palm, pregnant with possibility. What do we do now? Now, Kale said, a determined glint in his eye. We get you ready. The star map chamber is deep. We'll need specialized gear, power cells, and knowledge of the old systems. I'll teach you what I know about navigating the forgotten conduits. You, in turn, will help me reactivate some of the dormant protocols down there. It's been too long since anyone truly listened. Over the next few days, Elara's life transformed. Her hydroponics duties became an afterthought, expertly handled by the spire's automated systems, while she spent every available moment with Kale. He took her to his hidden workshop in the spire's maintenance levels, a cramped space filled with ancient tools, blinking diagnostic screens, and the comforting smell of lubricants and burnt wires. He taught her about the spire's complex internal architecture, the vast network of power conduits, grav shafts, and environmental controls that ran beneath its gleaming surface. He showed her how to bypass locked access panels, decipher ancient error codes, and even jury-rig a power converter from discarded parts. Elara, with her natural aptitude for understanding complex systems and her keen intuition, absorbed it all like a sponge. The spire is like a living organism, child, Kale explained one evening, as they painstakingly traced an old power line on a holographic schematic. Every hum, every flicker, every cold spot tells a story. And right now, it feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to awaken. He focused her training on the star map chamber's specific challenges. The air filtration systems were likely defunct, requiring personal atmospheric recyclers. The grav lifts might be offline, necessitating manual climbing through access shafts. And the old power grid, designed for systems long obsolete, would need to be rerouted. One afternoon, while trying to calibrate an ancient atmospheric sensor, Elara felt it. A subtle vibration, a faint, almost subliminal hum that resonated deep within her chest. It wasn't sound, not exactly, but a feeling. A harmonic frequency that pulsed with a profound sense of peace and expansive wonder. She paused, her hand hovering over the sensor's console. "Did you feel that, Kale?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Kale, who had been engrossed in repairing a broken circuit, looked up, a knowing smile slowly spreading across his face. "Ah, so you hear it too, do you? The spire's breath. The universe's whisper. That, child, is a faint echo of the heart song. It means the old systems are still sensitive, still listening. And it means the star map chamber is stirring." The revelation sent a shiver down Elara's spine. The heart song wasn't just a myth or a concept. It was a tangible presence, a cosmic melody that she could now perceive, however faintly. It was like finally hearing a distant song she had only ever hummed in her dreams. After weeks of preparation, they stood before the entrance to the lower levels, a reinforced blast door, long sealed off from the rest of the spire. Kale had managed to bypass the primary locking mechanism, but a secondary ancient failsafe remained. "It's a biometric lock, Elara," Kale explained, gesturing to a weathered scanner panel. "Designed for the original Spire Overseer. No record of her biometrics exists in the modern database." Elara looked at the panel, then at the data chip Kale had given her. "What about the frequency analysis, the EA Luminaria's pre-launch diagnostics?" Kale looked at her, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. "You think the Overseer's biometrics might have been tuned to the heart song? That her unique resonance was the key?" Elara nodded, placing her hand on the scanner. She closed her eyes, focusing on the faint hum she now recognized as the heart song. She imagined it flowing through her, aligning her own energy with its cosmic rhythm. Then with her free hand, she inserted the data chip into a small auxiliary port Kale had uncovered. The chip hummed, feeding the diagnostic frequency into the scanner. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a soft click echoed through the silent corridor. A faint green light pulsed on the scanner. The blast door, with a groan of ancient gears and hydraulics, began to retract, revealing a dark, dust-filled tunnel beyond. "Incredible," Kale breathed, his voice filled with awe. "You didn't just bypass it, child. You resonated with it. You've awakened it." Elara smiled, a triumphant warmth spreading through her. The journey into the spire's depths, and perhaps into the stars, had truly begun. The heart song was guiding her, not just in dreams but in the waking world, towards the promise of the golden bloom. The journey, she knew, had just begun, and the universe was finally beginning to sing directly to her. The air around them thickened, not with dust or vapor, but with an almost visible resonance, like light made tangible. The low hum Elara had felt beneath her feet intensified, rising in pitch until it became a resonant chord that vibrated not just in her ears, but deep within her bones. The chamber, once a study in muted gray-blue, began to shift. Vines of warm pulsating gold, light bloomed across the massive wall panels, tracing intricate geometric patterns that flowed and reconfigured like liquid constellations. It was as if the very stone was breathing, its ancient heart now beating in time with her own. Elara felt it most profoundly in her chest, a powerful counterpoint resonance to her own heart song, emanating from the very core of the spire. It was a sense of profound welcome, a feeling of being recognized and embraced by something monumentally ancient and wise. She felt a lightness, as if gravity itself had momentarily lessened its grip, and the air crackled with a gentle, benevolent energy. Kale, his face a canvas of awe, stepped closer, his eyes wide and fixed on the transforming chamber. His initial astonishment quickly gave way to a focused intensity. It's alive," he whispered, his voice hushed. He turned to Elara, his gaze piercing. "Child, what you've done is more than just awaken a mechanism. You've resonated with the very soul of this place. The spire isn't just a structure. It's a conduit, a way station built by the first builders. It understands the language of resonance, the cosmic frequencies that bind the universe." He gestured around the now shimmering chamber, where the golden light pulsed in rhythm with the deeper hum. The legends speak of the golden bloom not merely as a place, but as a nexus of creation, a source of immense universal energy and life. The spire, it is said, is the key to reaching it. Not just spatially, but intrinsically. It reveals the path not only through the stars, but through the deepest parts of oneself. Kale's voice took on a more serious tone. "You've opened the first gate, Elara. But the spire has many layers, many tests. It senses intent, yes, but it also demands understanding, harmony. Only you, with your heart song, can truly interact with it. I can guide you, share what little I know of the ancient texts, but the journey through its depths, that is yours alone." He paused, a flicker of concern crossing his features. "Are you ready?" Elara looked around at the living light, at the patterns shifting like ancient script, and then back at Kale. The question wasn't about readiness, not really. It was about inevitability. The spire's song was calling to her, merging with her own, pulling her forward with an irresistible current. "Yes," she breathed, her voice firm. "I'm ready." As if her affirmation was a final key, a section of the shimmering wall directly opposite them began to coalesce. The golden light intensified there, swirling inward to form a vortex, then settling into a perfectly smooth oval aperture, its edges glowing with an inviting warmth. It wasn't a door, but a portal. An opening into what looked like pure, liquid light. "The first gate," Kale confirmed, a renewed sense of wonder in his voice. "It senses your intent, your resonance. Step through, Elara." Elara felt a thrill of apprehension mixed with overwhelming excitement. The spire's hum was strongest here, a gentle thrum against her skin. She took a deep breath, the air tasting of ozone and something akin to starlight, and stepped forward. The world dissolved around her. It wasn't a sudden jolt, but a gentle, liquid transition, like sliding through warm water. She felt a momentary sensation of being stretched, rearranged, then gently reformed. The golden light enveloped her completely, a comforting embrace that seemed to hum directly into her consciousness. She wasn't moving through space in the conventional sense, she was moving through a state of being. When her surroundings solidified again, she found herself in a vast cylindrical chamber that dwarfed anything she had imagined. The walls were not solid stone, but woven light and energy, displaying an impossibly vivid panorama of the cosmos. Nebulae swirled in vibrant hues of magenta and emerald, distant galaxies glittered like scattered diamond dust, and constellations, both familiar and unknown, slowly drifted across the immense expanse. It was as if they stood inside a living observatory, the universe itself unfurling around them in real time. There was no floor, no ceiling in the traditional sense. Only a central axis of light that stretched infinitely up and down, and a profound sense of weightlessness that made her feel lighter than air, though her feet still rested on a translucent, crystalline surface. Kale appeared beside her a moment later, his eyes wide with renewed wonder. "Incredible," he murmured. "Every time I hear the legends, I think I understand, but to witness it..." He trailed off, simply gazing at the cosmic display. "This is the Nav Core Chamber, the heart of the Spire's navigational systems." In the very center of the chamber, rising from the translucent platform, stood an intricate console. It was a towering, elegant pillar of polished obsidian-like material, veined with shimmering golden lines that pulsed faintly. Its surface was covered in a mosaic of symbols, swirling glyphs, crystalline patterns, and abstract ideograms that, to Elara, felt strangely familiar, as if she had seen them in her dreams. "The seed pillar," Kale explained, gesturing towards it. "It's designed to project pathways through the cosmos, to chart courses to places long forgotten, or perhaps never truly known. But it needs to be calibrated, harmonized. It requires a specific frequency, a cosmic signature." He looked at Elara. "A heart song." Elara approached the seed pillar, her hand outstretched. As her fingertips neared its surface, the golden veins on the pillar pulsed brighter, responding to her proximity. She didn't touch it, not quite. She felt a subtle vibration, a faint echo of her own heart song resonating from within it. It was like trying to tune an instrument without hearing the note. "It's not about touch," she realized aloud, pulling her hand back slightly. "It's about resonance." She closed her eyes, letting the vastness of the cosmic chamber recede, focusing inward. She found her heart song, that unique melody that had guided her since childhood, and let it unfurl. She imagined it reaching out, a thread of pure intent, merging with the subtle hum of the spire, with the faint vibrations emanating from the seed pillar. She pictured the constellations, the light years, the impossible distances, and the hidden pathways that connected them all. She poured her wonder, her curiosity, her longing for the golden bloom, into that silent melody. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the seed pillar began to respond. The golden veins on its surface flared, and the pulsing intensified, becoming a steady, radiant glow. Then, from its apex, a shimmering holographic star map began to unfurl. It wasn't confined to the chamber. It extended outward seemingly through the light-woven walls, encompassing a vast sector of the galaxy. Thousands upon thousands of stars, nebulae, and galactic arms materialized around them, rendered in breathtaking, three-dimensional detail. It was a living, breathing map, constantly updating, showing the slow, majestic dance of celestial bodies. As Elara maintained her focus, the star map began to highlight specific pathways, shimmering lines of light connecting clusters of stars, then branching off towards distant, luminous clouds. These weren't conventional warp lanes or jump routes, they were conduits, as Kale had called them, pathways that seemed to weave through spacetime itself, almost like living arteries. And then, one path, brighter and more insistent than the rest, pulsed with an ethereal golden light. It snaked through several stellar nurseries, bypassing dense nebulae, and finally converged on a distant, shimmering nebula, unlike any other on the map. It radiated a soft, golden luminescence, a silent beacon in the cosmic sea. "The golden plume," Kale whispered, his voice thick with emotion, staring at the luminous nebula. "It's real. The spire has located it." Elara felt a surge of exhilaration. Her heart song pulsed with renewed vigor, a triumphant counterpoint to the spire's deep hum. She had done it. She had charted a course to the legendary source of creation. "The first builders," Kale continued, his voice now imbued with a storyteller's reverence. "They weren't just engineers, Elara. They were artists, philosophers, poets of the cosmos. They sought to understand the fundamental music of the universe, the underlying harmony that governed all existence. The spire is their grand symphony, a tuning fork designed to resonate with that cosmic song. The golden bloom. It's not just a physical location, it's a concept, a state of being, a nexus." He walked closer to the seed pillar, his finger tracing a shimmering conduit on the holographic map. Though they left behind echoes, residual energies, data patterns, fragments of their consciousness, perhaps even their wisdom. You may encounter them as we delve deeper. They are tests, lessons, and sometimes profound revelations. Elara felt a growing sense of purpose, a quiet confidence blooming within her. Her heart song, once a private, almost secret part of her, was now a language, a key, a bridge to an ancient, magnificent past. She felt a profound connection to the first builders, a sense of belonging to something far vaster and older than her small world. It was exhilarating, a rush of discovery that filled every fiber of her being. But with that exhilaration came a subtle weight, the sheer immensity of the task, the profound responsibility of being the one chosen to walk this path. It was daunting, but she knew, deep down, that she wouldn't have it any other way. The spire, she realized, wasn't just responding to her. It seemed to be learning from her, its intricate systems adapting, becoming more intuitive, almost anticipating her intent. As she gazed at the luminous path to the golden bloom, another section of the vast chamber began to shift. The light-woven wall directly beneath the seed pillar, where the projection of the galaxy curved away into the unseen depths, rippled and parted. This wasn't a portal of solid light like the first. Instead, a cascading stream of pure golden energy, like a waterfall of starlight, began to flow downwards, disappearing into a seemingly endless chasm below. It pulsed with a different harmony, a more complex, intricate melody that called to her with an insistent pull. "That," Kale said, his voice tinged with a new note of caution, "is the next gate. This path is less about navigation and more about understanding the G-flow of the spire's energy, its very lifeblood. It's a direct conduit into its deeper layers, its core." He looked at Elara, a blend of concern and encouragement in his eyes. "Are you ready to truly surrender to its song, Elara? To let it carry you?" Elara felt the new vibration, a deeper, more resonant chord, drawing her towards the shimmering conduit. The call of the golden bloom, now charted, now within reach, was stronger than ever, almost a physical tug on her soul. She looked at the cascading light, a river of wonder flowing into the unknown, and knew her journey was only just beginning. The universe was still singing, and she was finally learning to sing along. She stepped, not forward, but inward. The conduit didn't open to reveal a path. It became the path, dissolving the boundaries between her ship, her body, and the shimmering current itself. The stardust wandering didn't fly into it. It merged with it, its hull absorbing the light, its systems humming in perfect synchronicity with the universal frequency. Elara felt a peculiar sensation, as if her molecular structure was loosening, realigning, becoming part of the flow. The initial burst of sensation was overwhelming. A kaleidoscope of colors that had no names, sounds that resonated directly within her bones, and scents like starlight mixed with ancient earth. But it wasn't chaotic. It was an ordered symphony, a cosmic dance of data and energy. Her consciousness expanded, stretching beyond the confines of her skull, beyond the ship, beyond the immediate present. She was a single note in an infinite chord, simultaneously herself and everything else. The conduit wasn't a tunnel in space, but a river of pure information, a data stream of creation. She wasn't just traveling. She was experiencing the fabric of reality itself. Glimpses flashed before her inner eye, nebulae blooming like time-lapse flowers, planets forming and dissolving in cosmic dust, ancient civilizations rising and falling on worlds she would never physically visit. She saw echoes of other travelers, faint imprints of their wonder, their fear, their ultimate surrender to the same current. They were not solid forms but shimmering trails of intention, threads woven into the vast tapestry. The song that had drawn her here intensified, no longer a distant melody but a roaring harmonious chorus. It was the hum of the universe breathing, the silent thrum of stars being born, the gentle whisper of life unfolding on a million worlds. It spoke without words, conveying pure understanding, a profound sense of interconnectedness. Elara felt her own consciousness expanding, not painfully, but naturally, like a flower unfurling its petals to the sun. She saw patterns in the chaos, connections between seemingly disparate events, the underlying logic and boundless creativity of existence. There was a moment, fleeting, where a primal fear threatened to surface. The fear of losing herself, of dissolving into the infinite. But it was immediately enveloped by an even greater wave of peace, a feeling of belonging so profound it brought tears to her eyes. She wasn't losing herself, she was finding her truest self, the part of her that was always connected to this vast, wondrous reality. Her longing, which had driven her across galaxies, began to recede, replaced by a deep, unwavering calm. She was precisely where she was meant to be, participating in the universe's grandest secret. Then, as gently as it began, the intense flow began to soften. The light diffused, the sounds mellowed, and the sensation of boundless expansion slowly contracted, bringing her awareness back towards a focal point. The conduit, no longer a torrent, became a gentle stream, then a widening expanse of glittering stardust. Before her, in the heart of a cosmic void, bloomed the most magnificent sight she had ever witnessed. It was not a star, nor a nebula, nor a planet. It was all of these, and none of them. The golden bloom. It hung in the velvet blackness like a living jewel, a pulsating organic nebula of pure golden light, shot through with veins of emerald and sapphire. It wasn't static. It breathed, expanding and contracting with a slow, rhythmic grace. At its core, a blindingly brilliant sun seemed to hold dominion, but this was no ordinary star. Its light was soft, warm, and imbued with an intelligence that reached out and embraced Elara's ship like a gentle hand. The Stardust Wanderer, now re-solidified and shimmering with residual conduit energy, drifted into the bloom's embrace. Around them Elara sensed other presences, not physical ships, but shimmering motes of light, ancient and wise, like dormant souls patiently awaiting communion. This was a nexus point, a galactic heart, a place of reverence known only to those who had learned to listen to the universe's deeper song. The bloom didn't have a surface to land on. Instead, as the Stardust Wanderer drew closer, its golden light seemed to part, creating an ethereal gateway. Elara didn't need to be told what to do. Her intuition, now finely attuned by the conduit's journey, guided her. She disengaged the ship's minimal thrusters, allowing the bloom's gentle energetic currents to draw her in. The interior was even more breathtaking. It wasn't empty space, but a vast, shimmering cathedral of light, interwoven with gossamer threads of energy that pulsed with soft, golden luminescence. Crystals of unheard-of composition floated in the air, humming with quiet power. The air itself was thick with a sweet metallic scent, like ozone mixed with nectar. Elara knew she couldn't stay in her ship. She opened the hatch, feeling no need for a suit, no fear of the unknown. The environment was not hostile. It was an extension of herself, a part of the universal song made manifest. She stepped out, her boots settling onto nothing, yet feeling utterly grounded. She was floating, not falling, suspended in the bloom's gentle embrace. The bloom communicated with her, not through spoken words but through pure sensation, emotion, and image. It was a vast, ancient consciousness, a living library of all creation. It revealed itself as the dreamer of worlds, the source code of reality, the cosmic consciousness that spun galaxies into being, breathed life into nascent planets, and dreamed up every sentient thought across the cosmos. The song was its constant hum of creation, the gentle thrum of its boundless imagination. Elara saw visions unfold before her inner eye, the birth of her own galaxy, the slow, intricate dance of star formation, the first delicate stirrings of life on her home world. She witnessed the rise and fall of countless species, each one a unique note in the bloom's grand symphony. She understood that suffering and joy, creation and destruction, were all essential parts of the same beautiful, ever-unfolding narrative. Impermanence was not an ending, but a perpetual transformation. Her own journey was reflected in the bloom's wisdom. The longing she had felt, the yearning for something more, was not a void to be filled, but a fundamental drive, an echo of the bloom's own creative impulse. The search itself was part of the song, the very act of seeking bringing new melodies into being. She understood that the universe was not a puzzle to be solved, but a story to be lived, a song to be sung. The bloom didn't give her a physical gift, no artifact or power. Instead, it awakened something profound within her. It showed her her own unique note in the universal song, not as a soloist but as an essential part of the chorus. She felt a sense of profound peace, a quiet joy that settled deep in her soul. The yearning, the searching, had not ended in a destination, but in a realization. She was already home, already connected, always had been. She didn't just receive, she contributed. Her experiences, her dreams, her journey, her very essence, flowed outward from her, becoming tiny, shimmering threads woven into the bloom's infinite tapestry. She felt the echoes of other consciousnesses, ancient and new, all sharing their unique perspectives, enriching the collective dream. The bloom was not a static repository, but a living, breathing, growing entity, fueled by the myriad experiences of the cosmos. Elara realized the golden bloom wasn't an external destination she had to reach, but a reflection, a mirror of the universe's infinite potential and her own. It showed her that the song wasn't about reaching a particular place or achieving a specific goal, but about each becoming the song itself, about living in harmony with the flow of existence, embracing wonder, and finding connection in every breath. A gentle vision unfolded before her, not of a specific future but a feeling. The quiet joy of discovery, the warmth of companionship, the beauty of simple moments. It reinforced the bloom's message. True wisdom wasn't found in grand answers, but in the appreciation of the intricate dance of life, in the simple act of presence. A gentle pull, soft as a sigh, began to draw her back. Not a forced exit, but a natural conclusion to her communion. She wasn't leaving the bloom entirely. A part of it, an understanding, a profound sense of peace, remained with her, intertwined with her essence. She felt her consciousness gently recentering, her physical form solidifying. The stardust wandered and shimmered around her, no longer just a vessel, but an extension of her own expanded being. She was back in the cockpit, the golden light of the bloom still streaming in through the viewport, but now beginning to recede. The ethereal gateway closed, not with a snap, but with a slow, graceful merging of light. The return journey through the conduit was different. It wasn't a journey of discovery, but of integration. The flashes of worlds and timelines were still there, but now Elara saw them not as separate entities, but as interconnected parts of a unified whole. The universal song was no longer something she sought to hear. It was something she wasked, a melody woven into the very fabric of her being. When the Stardust Wanderer finally emerged from the conduit, slipping back into familiar space near the edge of the charted galaxy, Elara was changed. Subtly, profoundly. Her eyes held a deeper light, a quiet understanding that radiated from within. Her spirit, once restless with longing, was now imbued with a profound calm, a sense of belonging that transcended time and space. She sat in the pilot's chair, the familiar hum of her ship a comforting counterpoint to the cosmic symphony now playing eternally in her heart. She looked out at the vast, star-dusted expanse, the same universe she had left, but now she saw it with new eyes. The stars were no longer distant points of light, but shimmering echoes of the golden bloom, each one a tiny wondrous note in the endless, beautiful song. The universe was still vast, still full of mysteries waiting to be explored, but now, it felt like home. Elara knew her journey was far from over. There would be new stars to chart, new worlds to discover, new melodies to learn. But she would embark on them not with a yearning for what was missing, but with the quiet joy of what had been found. The realization that the greatest adventure was not out there among the stars, but deep within the boundless heart of existence itself. And as the stardust wanderer drifted gently through the velvet night, Elara closed her eyes, letting the quiet hum of the universe lull her. She was a dream woven into the cosmic tapestry, a singer in the endless song. And in that moment, she knew true peace. Good night, little wanderer. May your dreams be as vast and wondrous as the universe, and may you always hear its song.